So it'll run, but something's still not right. So I'm going to take off the carburetor, and I've actually got a 34 that I'm going to put on, but I need to take it apart too. I'll take this one apart and check it out as well, but I think it's got some clogged up jets and a few other issues. But we'll see. So this is the reproduction used carburetor I got. It's a 34 Pict-3 Kafer carburetor. No idea, but we're gonna try it. It's already the drain on the float bowl is loose and a few other things. But I want to pull out that plug. The main jet's behind there. This is the air. I don't know if y'all can see that. This is the air and fuel mixture. I think idle jet circuit over here. Of course, accelerator pump, the choke, and this is the butterfly thingy. That looks good. I mean, it's a reproduction carburetor, fairly new. I'm not sure why the guy sold it. Maybe he went to dual carbs or something. But I'm just gonna start taking some stuff apart on this, and we'll check it out. First thing I'll probably do is open up the float bowl. And I want to be careful because I don't have a kit for this, so I don't have the new gasket. There's just 5 screws that hold all this together. These 4 on top of the bowl, and then 1 on the other side of the intake there. And I probably should get a rebuild kit for this, especially if it leaks. You don't want a fuel leak in your engine compartment by any means. I've got to take off the return spring here. And that should all come off. And it's pretty, really very clean inside. There's a little clip that holds in the float. And we also want to check the needle and seat up here. We'll get to that here in just a minute. I thought that all looks really pretty good. I'm encouraged by that. Like I said, this was already loose. The drain plug here and that gasket doesn't look too great. It's not really a gasket, it's just a little seal, but I think it might work. And then behind that is the main jet. Which comes out nicely. We will make sure that is clean. Where are you? There you are. You can see right through that, so it's pretty good. I'm going to leave it out though, because we're going to just spray some carb cleaner through this. We're also going to take out the air adjustment. It's nice and clean. This thing's in really clean shape. And we'll take out fuel adjustment, which isn't spinning as freely. I also recently had a wrist injury, a little carpal tunnel in my right hand, so it's not working as well as could be. There we go. And that adjusts the amount of fuel that goes in at idle. There we go. We'll clean it up, make sure it's all good. Yeah, I'm looking down in there. I know you can't see down in there, but they look okay. Here's also the accelerator pump, little squirter. I'll make sure that's in clean shape, so we'll clean that out as well. And then there's a couple jets over here for idling. That's really clean. There's a little screwdriver. And this one here, that's just a little plug. Oh, there's a little jet behind it that I need a much smaller screwdriver for. So we can pull that out too. There's also a little ball valve down in here, and I don't think this one has the second one. It might be at the bottom of this. There's a little pin that looks like it might be holding that in, but I'm just going to spray carb cleaner through everything and make sure everything is clean, all the passages. A little bit bigger wrench than I bought for that. So let me get a couple more tools and I'll be right back. And just to make sure, we'll pull this guy off. That's your little fuel cutoff. That's what that is. It's a fuel cutoff. When you turn off the engine, it sets off the fuel. I can hear the little ball valves in there doing their thing. And I brought a teeny tiny screwdriver. I may need teenier, tinier. Yep, I'm gonna go get a teenier, tinier. Okay, I got a tiny little guy for in there. My neighbor has decided to start mowing right now also. Do this without... I'm not getting down in there, even with this little guy. Well, we'll spray carb cleaner through all this and see what it does. All right, we got a little carb cleaner here. I know you can't see half of what I'm doing, so. All right, it's good. None of this is overly tight. You don't want any of this too tight. This isn't really, well, it is a needle and seat, but it's a little bit different. Someone's put 2 washers on here. I wonder if that was a strategy to have it cut off a little bit earlier. I think I'll put it back the way it was. See what happens with that. Spray through this direction. Okay, all we have left to do is put back on the top of the carb. Like so. Little spring washers on there. I thought they were O-rings. There's little spring washers on here to make sure this stays down nice and snug. That's good. Don't have any parts left over. That's encouraging. To be honest, I haven't taken apart a carburetor in probably, let me go untighten, loosen some of this. I haven't taken apart a carburetor in probably 20, 25 years. So that's pretty fun. Make sure this one's not cross-threaded. That doesn't feel right. Let's do this. It just looks like it's going in at an angle. Well, and this is aluminum. We don't want that. Yeah, this is not a German carburetor. This is a reproduction from Kafer. And so I don't know anything about it. I think we just had some gum or something down there. If you know anything about it, let me know. Okay. No leaks. We don't want leaks in our engine compartment. Got that all working. Accelerator pump works, and that's adjustable. That's what's different on the 34 is you can adjust the accelerator pump. We may have to do that once we get it on the car. But everything I know how to clean is pretty clean on here. We've got our return spring. We've got our choke set up. Now all we have to do is put it on the car and see what happens. I'll bring you back over there. So Buddy right now has a 30/3 Pict, P-I-C-T on here. Let's pull off some of the stuff. We got the wire going to the choke, and we got the wire going to the shutoff. And we're going to have to pull out or take off the distributor cap so we can get back to a wire back here. I've also got to take off the fuel line. I use clamps because I don't want an engine fire. I've seen too many bugs and buses burnt down over the years. Good friend in high school, his bus burnt down. He had a 74 Bay, and it burnt to the ground. Well, not quite at the ground. And it was an expensive fire because it had a magnesium block, and they see, fuel already. And they had to use a special fire extinguisher to put it out. So that was expensive. I think he said it was like $600. It's like back in 1986 or 87, just for the fire extinguisher to put out the fire. I don't remember if that's true or not, but I can imagine it being something like that. A lot of guys have these nifty S-shaped wrenches that get back in here. I don't have one. We can pull this guy off too. I don't know if you remember, but what I did do was put a new distributor on the car. Oh, that's impossible. And that was actually a large portion of the problem of getting it running and running consistently. But the problem we have now is we won't idle. And I have a feeling that the idle screw, not idle screw, the idle jet on this carb has had better days. There we go. So we're going to take this one off and put on the 34, which is what this car should have had anyway. Like I said, this engine came out of a buggy. It's a 1600 dual port, so it's the right engine for Buddy. It is a replacement case. It was not ever in a car. Well, the engine eventually wasn't a car, but it was a case that Volkswagen sold as a replacement. All right. There we go. Oh, fuel line. I mean, not fuel line. The accelerator cable. There we go. There we go. All right, so here's our 30/31 Pict. It is a Solex, but yeah, it's a mess right now. These fuel lines were bad, and it's got all kinds of crap in it. So I'm sure that's part of the problem. I've got a fuel filter on here, but there's still some crappy fuel in here, and it's missing a screw on top of the fuel inlet, the top of the carb. then our 34, which goes down nicely. We're almost touching the generator, which is kind of funny. Ooh, there's some nastiness coming through. That's probably part of the reason we're not running well. Is I didn't tell you, I actually I wasn't getting fuel back here, and so I pulled out the fuel tank, not realizing there was like 3 gallons of fuel in it. Nasty old fuel too. Got fuel down in the distributor. I need to let this dry out before I even try starting it. And couldn't blow out the line. The main line blew out just fine, but the little line comes out of the bottom of the fuel tank. I had to pull that out and actually push a wire through there. It was so gummed up with crap, and clean it out and everything. And I think everything is kind of run through here. The tank still has some rust in it. I'm not doing this really well because I still have a rusty tank, and oh my god, my fingers are way too fat. And I really should take the tank out, clean it out. I should really get a new tank. They're about $150 or so from Wolfsburg West, about $110 from less reputable sources. Not reputable, but just, you know, cheaper distributor. Rotors getting in the way here too. I've got really large fingers. There we go. Okay. There we go. So I got all that cleaned out, got some good fuel in there, some sea foam, which some people say is great, other people say is BS. I like it. I think it cleans stuff pretty well. And we'll see what we can do with this. Even without an S-shaped wrench to get back in here. Good engineering, man. Everything just fits in here tight. The carb just almost gets to the shroud and almost to the generator. I think I got that barrel nut off of the other one. Let's see, where's all my wires? Oh, I kind of buried them. That's to my choke. Punk. This way. Yeah. My clamp. There we go. Okay. So this is kind of a three-hand job, getting the accelerator cable back on here. But you've got to get your barrel in there. And you've got to get the cable through the barrel. And I like to hold on to it. A pair of pliers. And have my screwdriver. I'm not pulling on this, but I just want to take the slack out. A little bit's okay, but I don't want too much going on in there. And I've had these loosen off here, so I snug it well. Also gonna put some gas down the float bowl. This goes right into the float bowl. It's a little vent. And we dribbled some in there, so we've got some primer. Choke. I did start this earlier, but you know, a little choke. It's not too bad for it. There we go. Get the trigger cap back on here. Where's a little notch? Oh, there we go. That'll help. Okay. And all our wires are still hooked up. Everyone's happy. We've got our SVDA. That's really bad. That's not fitting on there well. If we turn this around. Do a little bit of that. That's a little bit better. Got a little vacuum leak. We'll have to address that also. I don't know how the choke is set up. I don't know how the well, I saw how the accelerator pump is set up, but you know, we'll just go with what's on here. This came from an engine, and I've got a hose that's way too long. That's not going to work. Somewhere back in there for right now. And evidently the phone is ringing. So I don't know how much of that you got. I didn't know that would happen. I should have put it on airplane. But let me zoom out here and we'll try starting the car. Well, definitely going to have to adjust the carburetor. It does work. I think I like the heavier spring on there. I don't see any fuel leaks or anything right now. It's still choked a little bit. So, yeah, but it needs some adjustment. So I'm going to have to run back here and grab screwdrivers and stuff to adjust it up. But let's see. Okay, I turned out the, well, I'll show you here. I turned out the fuel mixture for the idle a little bit. And that got it going. fake idle right now, but the screw here, I thought it was not against where it's supposed to be on the choke mechanism, but it's actually just not returning all the way. I still need to adjust the idle a little bit. It's still not working right. Alright, that's not good. I don't want to reach down there and grab that. See, we're still having a problem with idle, not idling. I thought I had got it, and it was actually the this little guy. It's not an idle screw. That is your for part of the choke system. Why this isn't returning all the way, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't pull that out. Let me, redo that, because maybe I'm causing part of a problem here. Probably am. Don't want to adjust the idle with your throttle cable either. You don't want tension on that all the time, I can't imagine. Okay. Try again. So still having some idle problems there on the on Buddy, but I did want to pull this one apart and just check it out. And I bet you anything this float bowl is full of rust. Really, I need to address the fuel problems on the car. I need to take out the tank and clean it out better, and probably replace it. Oh, look, there's only 4 screws to take out here. I'm gonna take this spring off. I do like this spring better. The right way. There we go. It's a beefier spring. Yeah, that's gross. I don't know if you can see in there. Probably not. It's just got a lot of crap in the bottom of it. It's not horrible. So Buddy is still here. Interior is pretty much put back together. This is kind of what state he was in when he was parked. There we go. Back seat. There's still some headliner that needs to be done, a few other things, just little bits. I'll get to that. But he's ready to roll and has rolled. I drove him about 3 blocks when I first got the engine going, and everything seems to move and work okay. A little dusty out here in the carport, but you know, it's getting there little bit by little bit. I don't have as much time to work on them right now. I really wanted to drive them around this summer, but it is what it is. So I'll keep working on the engine, probably get some new fuel. That's really the main problem, probably, is just the fuel. Need to pull that tank out again, clean it out, get all the crap out of there, and just put really good gas in it, and go from there. We'll see. Thanks for joining me.